Hello, 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 hello out there in the internet lands. My name is Jaimelyn Gray. I am the host of this program known as You've Got a Thing, an interview thing about Milwaukee theater things. How are you? How are you out there? Lots of things going on out there in the world. This is a theater current events program, but there's a lot of other current events happening out there that I don't know if we have time to talk about. I did much like a lot of people watch Conclave last night because of the Pope passing away. Felt like quite suddenly. But he had pneumonia for a bit there, but it still felt like sort of out of nowhere. So I watched Conclave. I highly recommend it. It's a good one. It's a good one. But this is not a film podcast. This is a theater, a Milwaukee theater to be specific, podcast. And so today we have a wonderful artist, actor Tami Workentin, coming on to talk about Circle Mirror Transformation, which had its couple of previews happening right now. And I think it officially opens tomorrow, Friday, the 25th, I believe is when it officially opens, but they're going through some great previews right now. So we're going to talk about that. And very excited to hear about that by Annie Baker. That's a good one. It's been produced here in Milwaukee a few years back. I know one of our constructivist artists was involved in that a few years back. So this should be good for people who haven't seen it, or if you'd like to see it again. If you saw that production a few years ago. It's always good to see other people's perspectives on things, and Annie Baker is a great writer, and Cody Essel is directing that. The artistic director of Next Act is directing that one, and so we're going to talk about that a little bit. But for right now, I would like to talk about a few other things happening in the community. Got a couple of things. We had a real flurry of activity there a couple weeks back, with a lot of things happening, and that's how it seems to go. It ebbs and flows, these activities that we have. So right now you have the chance to catch Sister Act at Skylight Music Theater. This is closing this weekend, so if you have not seen this, you need to get your butt in there, because it's closing on the 27th for sure, is when that will be all done. So that this is over with on Sunday. And so if you have not been in, we had an interview with Molly Rohde last week. If you did not hear about that and you'd like to check that out, that's also something that you can check out in your spare time. And so, if you're unfamiliar with this was actually a movie, and they turned it into a musical, a movie in the 90s. I really enjoyed that movie and its sequel, Sister Act 2, Back in the Habit. What was that one was called? But you can check out this musical filled with joy. It is. I have heard nothing but comments about joy out of this one. Real uplifting, real great end to Skylight's season. This one is going to be, because of how powerful and joyful it is. And so if you want to check it out, you can go to smtmke.org is the address of Skylight's location on the internets, smtmke.org. Sister Act. It's a good one. It'll lift your spirits if you're looking for for a little bit of that right now, which I think we all could use, frankly. Something in my throat there. So smtmke.org for that. Then next we have, coming up next week, this is a really great night for the Black and African American community that Milwaukee Chamber Theater puts on. They started this Legacy Night back in 2024 for the Milwaukee area. It was inspired by an event created in 2019 by actor and playwright Jeremy O. Harris, where for the first time ever, every seat in Broadway's Golden Theater was occupied by Black audience members. And so this is a night, particularly for this show, Top Dog Underdog by Susan Laurie Parks. This is going to be a great event for the Black and African American community. It's April 30th at 7 p.m. There's a pre-show reception at 5 p.m. for the community, and it should just be a really great night for you to check out that show. It's a performance specifically for that community, and I think it's a great event and they actually encourage. There's a question on the website that's like, what if I'm a white audience member and would like to see the performance? And the answer to that is go and see a different performance. This is an infinity space, a community space. It's one night only. You can check out another night. I'm confident you can make it happen, because I'm really looking forward to this show. I'm going to check out another night myself. And but you can find out more information about Legacy Night or any other performance that you need to look into at Milwaukee Chamber Theatre. That's a TRE.org to check out more information about Legacy Night or any other performance that you need to look into. And so that is Milwaukee Chamber Theater, and that's all about Top Dog Underdog, Susan Laurie Parks. That's going to be a great one. DeMonte Henning's in it. Wonderful, wonderful actor and artist and director and all of that, and a superhuman being too. So go and support Milwaukee Chamber Theater coming up here. They're opening that next week, and I hope to get somebody in here to come and talk about Top Dog Underdog. Very, very, very excited about that. Next we have in our lineup Interchange Theater Co-op. You hear me talk about this every week, because every week they have something, because they are busy mother effers over there. I'm telling you. Plus, they have their open mic, open jams on Thursday nights. They have one tonight. If you want to get over there and show the world what you've got, you can go to interchangetheater.com for more information about the Interchange Theater Co-op. Great improv group of guys, really making it happen over there. Great space there on 10th Street. And in the basement of the Big Red Church is how it appears to be, but there's a side entrance off of 10th Street that you can access that theater that was redone and rebuilt by In Tandem Theater some years back. Matt Kemple had a hand in building that space as well, and it's just a really great space. And so go to interchangetheater.com to find out more information about that. Okay. Then next we have, it is Autism Awareness Month, all month long, the month of April. There's so much I would like to say about this. One of let me rewind for a second here. My daughter has a genetic disorder, and so I am well. What's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think of the word. My brain. What? Oh, I hate it sometimes. I am incorporated into the community. I've got lots of information coming at me, particularly on Facebook, from friends of mine whose children also have genetic disorders and are on the autism spectrum. And there is a lot happening in the autism community right now. Not real great, particularly in terms of in Medicaid and how things are transpiring in the community to maybe lessen funding to the community, which would not be great. I know what it takes to provide a safe and equitable environment to a child with a disability, and it's a lot. It is a lot more than your average person. But we're the greatest country in the world, right? We should be able to help people who need help. Oh, you guys. Anyway, but it is Autism Awareness Month, and the goal of this is just to pause and take time to recognize the talents, contribution, and diversity of the community, and really dive into how people from the autistic community are bettering the world that we live in. There's so much I could say about the joy that my daughter brings to my life. And even though she's not autistic, like I said, I spend a lot of time with community members, and it hurts me. It hurts me a lot that to see that there's a real effort to pull support from the autism community and from the disability community. And I hope that if you have the opportunity, go to autisticadvocacy.org. I don't have a banner for that. Let's try this. I know you guys love it when I type out things as I'm talking to you. I know it's your favorite. Here you go, autisticadvocacy.org. It's a great website for information about the autistic community, and it really, from what I saw, promotes a lot of steps towards self-advocacy for the community as well, which is really great. So autisticadvocacy.org, check that out as well. And last but not least, how many days are in April? April has 31 days, so we'll have another. Okay, Alcohol Awareness Month. It is also from the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism. You can go to niaaa.nih.gov and access more information about Alcohol Awareness Month. Alcohol use disorder is a real thing. Each year there are more than 178,000 alcohol-related deaths, which makes alcohol a leading preventable cause of death in the United States. It's up there. There are also more than 200 diseases and injury-related conditions associated with alcohol misuse. Is another aspect to alcohol use and alcohol misuse. And so check out the National Institute on Alcohol Abuse and Alcoholism, and just educate yourself a little bit. You can always reach out to me if you are interested in talking about what it's like to stop drinking and live an alcohol-free existence. I am one of those people. I also know of several other people I could connect you to that might be good people to talk to if you don't want to talk to me about it. So there you go. But Alcohol Awareness Month, April. Good to know. 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 So there you go. Oh, look at me flashing. So like I said, we have a great interview coming up here with our good friend Tami Workentin, who is again an artist in circle mirror transformation over at Next Act Theatre. And so let's get to that interview right now. And here we are. We are with the most fantastic, fabulous Tami Workentin from the wonderful production of Circle Mirror Transformation. That is, what is it? Second preview today.
Second preview tonight. Yep.
Is the big ta-da today.
Yeah.
Great actor here in Milwaukee, and very excited to have you here. Thank you so much for your time, because your schedule is super crazy right now. So
yeah.
Thank you so much for squeezing this little program in. So I just want to get into a little bit, because I never assume that anybody knows anybody who's listening or watching or doing whatever. So can you just give a little bit of background about yourself and your map as an artist, and then how you've been working with Next Act over the course of your career?
Sure. I started into theater late in life, although probably was introduced to it through the church, frankly. So being a young church girl, my first foray on stage was singing "I'm Just a Christian Cowgirl" while swinging a lasso. And my mom had made my bolero and my little skirt, and I had to borrow a pair of cowboy boots from the biggest guy in the church. And I started swinging my lasso, and the boy I had the biggest crush on was named Ricky Weidkamp, and he was a little Dutch boy, and he had a little Dutch haircut, and he started giggling while I was swinging the lasso, and I peed all the way down into my cowboy boots.
No!
And I had to slosh off stage with them. It was mortifying, but I had practiced that song.
Oh my gosh!
I was so good at that song. So truthfully, the church really was my foray into theater.
Wow.
Yeah. I went to Seattle Pacific University. It was a Methodist college, and all of the kind of odd kids who were doing bits all the time and probably completely annoying to everybody else made sense to me. And so I auditioned for a show and got in it. It was a Thurber Carnival. And then went on to audition for the traveling drama troupe called the Chancel Players, and got to tour Alaska and do all that kind of stuff. And
wow,
it was amazing. But then I stepped out of college at that point, because I thought, if this is really the thing, this may not be where I want to do my training. So I took 2 years off, worked for the Symphony and Opera, and then eventually auditioned for Cornish College of the Arts. And then that's where I got my BFA.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a track.
It was a track, yeah. And then moved to the Midwest, spent a little time in Seattle, moved to the Midwest. That's, was in Chicago for 9 years, and then ended up here in Milwaukee, where then I had both of my kids, two boys.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I love Milwaukee.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And my time with Next Act, they were telling me 12th or 13th production, I think, with them. And, back in the days when Next Act was in its little theater in the Aveda Center.
Yeah.
And, you had people feet on the stage. It was unnerving. And I mean, you know, if you gotta, that's a real training ground for learning how to act, because
it is.
They are like right in your face.
Yeah.
And went on to do the first show here at Next Act when they did their new space. It was called Exonerated. And we played all these exonerees who got off death row. And it was really, really fun, really interesting, you know. So it's been fun now to, you know, have worked with David Cesarini and his administration, and now into working with Cody.
Yeah.
You know, it's really fun. It's fun I love it all, you know. And it has very much felt like a home to me. I love it here.
That's great. And so for people who don't know, Cody Essel is directing Circle Mirror Transformation. He's taken the reins on this one this time. So that's great. So how many well, okay, let's rewind. And so tell us a little bit about the show itself. What is the play about?
Sure. I think probably the first question people are always going to ask is, what's the title all about? Circle Mirror Transformation is the name of a theater game. And you stand in a circle and somebody starts a gesture. The group mirrors it. Then you turn to the person next to you, and as you're mirroring it, you transform it.
Okay.
This really is where Annie Baker is so smart, because it really becomes the nature of what this play is about. These people come in to this group, and through these 6 weeks of being together, they all change. Mm-hmm. So I play Marty Kreisberg, and she is the co-executive director of a community theater. And she's teaching her first adult acting class. And these group of ne'er-do-wells come in to take this class, one of which is my husband, which my backstory is I needed one more person to make this class go. So I made him come, you know. But this group comes together.
Almost like Annie Baker knows what she's talking about.
She knows what she's talking about.
How the theater system works.
You got to come.
Yeah.
So these people, these other characters come into it with varying degrees of even theater experience or having seen the theater, whatever, of different ages, backgrounds. And so, you know, coming in and doing a theater class is incredibly vulnerable.
It is.
And they come in, and I'm very excited about all of them being there. And the play takes place over the course of the 6 classes. Right. And in each of these classes, we have what we call a slice. So there could be 5 slices within a class. And you'll get to see us through various theater games, a couple of private conversations. And you watch the dynamic of what, you know, theater games are meant to do is kind of tap into the personal. So you see a game that may start out kind of silly, tap into something that's actually transformative and a little life-changing for the participants. And it is a very gentle play. Annie Baker's style of theater is such that it's really kind of peeking in on human behavior. She has a set of rules at the beginning of the play. You have a silence, and those have timings attached to it. A pause, short pause, long pause. And you absolutely have to follow the rules of all of these things. And she said at the front of it, you know, actors will at some point wonder if they're really doing enough, because it's true. Because when you're counting them in your head to try to get the dynamic of it before you can organically underfill it with that silence is there because there's a tension, there's a conflict, there's an event that's happening. Yeah. But it's something. I mean, there's points where you have a blank stage for a bit. And what you watch to this play is the comedy really comes out of behavior, human behavior.
Yeah.
You're not sending up a laugh line, you're not doing a bit. And in fact, whenever you find yourself making a face or being too large, it's not the play. But that's complicated with the thing is that you're still presenting in a theater, right? You still got to sing it out so that the back row can still see you. So you can't do movie acting. So you have to let people into what your inner thoughts are through this. And it is a tricky little thingy thing, you know, and, but I love it. Cody, our director, said something the other day that really stuck with all of us. He said, this play is like a piece of tissue paper. And it's, you know, it's got that air underneath it. And if it gets saturated, it goes down. And if it has too much air, it floats up. Mm-hmm. And so it's got to function like this really delicate thing. Mm-hmm. And it's quite fun to do, but it is a lot harder to do. Probably one of the harder things I've done because of all of that. And then it also has blackouts between each of these slices. So you have to remember where you're going. And then we have traffic patterns in the dark so we don't kill one another. And the whole group is just like going, God, I hope we, you know, I just think it's beautiful. I love it so much. And I just think, you know, we're always trying to balance what we're doing in the theater as to what's happening in the world outside of it, outside. You know, do we mirror that? What do we do? Yeah. And I love that this is just people trying to do their best.
Right on.
Right?
Right on. Yeah.
Right on, you know, and I think you fall in love with these characters and their struggles and it's so real and wonderful. I think that's why people need to come see it. It's very warm. It's very warm.
It sounds like something that for a lot of say, you know, insider theater people, we're going to get something a little bit more. We're going to understand a little bit more of the mechanics and the maybe the inside of art making that like a normal like art patron or somebody might have a different take on this experience. And I think that's a really interesting dichotomy of potential dichotomy of experiencing this play through the eyes of a theater maker and the eyes of like a theater patron.
And you don't have to, and you can be either to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And the beauty of it is very quickly that kind of premise goes away. Because I will say that plays about theater making are not necessarily things that I always love, right?
Sure.
And this starts there and then it kind of goes away. And even though the games exist, you start to see these relationships, and it's great. It's great.
I mean, it's a play that's done on a regular basis. There's something about this play that connects to people on a higher level than like just a play about people who make theater kind of experience.
I agree.
Yeah. I'm very excited to see it. I'm nerding about it. I will be there for sure. So why would you think that somebody who may not know sort of the ins and outs of the theater making lifestyle, why would they be interested in seeing something about that?
I think it's always fun to see how the soup is made.
Yeah.
Right. You know,
I
do. My reality TV watching, you know, I like shows where they show me how the ballet is put on. Right.
Same.
Right? Or the dance rehearsals, you know, because it's not my world. And there is such that, you know, and you really get down to the basics of when you learn the craft of acting, you do a lot of silly games that people will look at and go, what's that all about? Right. Yeah. But there is a point to it.
Yeah.
And that listening on stage is a skill set.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's not just line to line to line, because there's breath in between things. There's reaction. There's how does something, you know, because in the real world, someone says something to you and your brain doesn't always compute it as quickly as
Yeah.
as you would think. So you get to see how all of that goes together a little bit. I think that's fun. I think it's also fun because you see it from a layperson's perspective, right? Because
Sure.
there's people in this play who don't do this for a living, right? So you can experience all that complete anxiety of public speaking, of being vulnerable, So I think even if the theater part doesn't necessarily grab you, there's a part of just fear of standing in front of a group of people.
Yeah.
All of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it will appeal to all.
I think so too. Annie Baker's a smart playwright.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Well, if people want to come and see Circle Mirror Transformation, they're going to go to nextact.org to do the clicky clacks or find the phone number or whatever, and they will see you, madam, perform your butt off for all of Milwaukee to see. And I'm so excited to see you in this. And I thank you so much for carving out some time for me again.
You are welcome. You are welcome.
And have a most excellent opening and have a great final preview this evening.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Bye.
All right, friends, there you have it. How about that, Tami Workentin? What a great artist she is, with all her experience here in Milwaukee as an actor. And I'm glad she could squeeze us in, because they've got a real tight calendar over there at Next Act right now. It was a lot to get her in here, and I'm just so grateful that she was able to spare the time to share some great words with you all. And so that's all we have for today. I hope we can get somebody from Milwaukee Chamber Theater over here to talk about Top Dog, Underdog. Oh, I would love to get to Monte Henning if I could. That would be just the bee's knees to get him on here to talk about his experience with that show, because that's going to be a good one. And so hopefully we can get somebody over here. But until then, keep an eye on our social medias so that you can learn more about who's coming up and who's doing what, when, where on You've Got a Thing. But until next time, be well out there. Keep your brains as well as you can with the way that things are. And I hope to bring some good theater next week back to you on You've Got a Thing.